You're listening to the Bleav in Giants podcast with two-time Super Bowl winner Carl Banks and the voice of the Giants, Bob Papa.
Welcome to another edition of Bleav in Giants, presented by FanDuel. Bob Papa, two-time Super Bowl champion Carl Banks, and Giants fall to 2-7 as they literally get run over by the San Francisco 49ers yesterday, and nothing was more depressing. Well, there was all the Niner fans that were in the building yesterday. That was like the Steelers were in town. That's how many people were there. And then basically the Niners in the fourth quarter said, okay, on first down, we're going to throw one pass. And then we're going to take this football and we're going to just run it. And we're going to dare you to stop it. And the Giants could not stop it at all. San Francisco was 32nd in yards per carry in the NFL going into the game. Respectable 4.1 yesterday. They ran for 160 yards, 159 after the kneel down. And basically they just said, we see that you can't stop the run. And unless you stop the run, we're going to run it right at you.
I'm embarrassed for Giants fans. You know what? I didn't have a comment after the game because people saw what they saw. So I guess certain adjectives are a sensitive thing. So let me just say this. Instead of using the word respect or disrespect in general, the San Francisco 49ers imposed their will on the New York Giants defense, and the New York Giants defense could not stop it. And that is embarrassing. And I'll tell you why it's embarrassing. Because after the game, player interviews, defensive player interviews, hey, do you guys think X coach is the right coach for you? Yeah, I mean, we believe in him. We just got to execute. Yeah, we just got to execute. Yeah, we got to play better. Well, you're at home. The 49ers walked in, kicked the door in, and said, hey, first we're going to let our quarterback go perfect passing the ball. And then we're just going to take our foot off of that area and put it on your back, and we're going to run over your back. And it is embarrassing. We saw a bunch of DWIs out there defensively. DWI, don't want it. There was a bunch of those. If you're not inspired as a player by what you see from Brian Burns every single play, if you're not inspired by what you see from Kayvon Thibodeau, the effort he puts in every single play, I don't know what makes your heart beat, man, if you're a defensive player. Bobby Okereke gives you everything he's got. Now, he ain't perfect. And I got an issue with Kayvon because once a game, he lets a wide receiver block him. And the reason they get him once a game is because they know they can, right? After the one time they block him, he gets it right. And then they try with Burns and he blows it up, right? So if I am giving Kayvon Thibodeau advice, which I am right now, not that I got a high level of regard for the way you're playing right now, but they should not get away with the one play they get away with every game. If they line a wide receiver up close to you, turn around and hit him in the jaw. Just smash him on the snap. Here's the thing. If they're going to block you with him, they're running your way. If they're not going to block you with him but going to bluff you with him, you're not going to be involved in the play anyway because it's going away from you. So for your troubles, put on film that you just smashed the wide receiver. that will end it all. Nobody else is going to try that one play. They only want it one time because they know they can get it one time. Because they see on film that you're susceptible that one play a game. You can end all of that. You line up, and he acknowledges. Every time he lines up, he points to the wide receiver being close, right? That's to communicate with the guy behind him who's supposed to fill off of him. But point to him, and when the ball is snapped, you can't be wrong on that play. You turn around and you smash the wide receiver. If they're running your way, you're going to be where you're supposed to be. If they're not running your way, the ball's running away from you anyway. If they're not going to block you with a wide receiver, the ball's going inside of you. So get that out of the way. Put it on film, because right now they're looking at you getting blocked once a game on film by a wide receiver. Eliminate that. Put on film that this is what happens when you try to block him with a wide receiver. That play is over with. Okay? But if you're not inspired defensively by what you're seeing from those guys, and you know what? Nacho has his limitations. But damn if he doesn't give you effort every play.
Sure.
And here's my thing. How many players did San Francisco have out on their offense? They had 2 backup offensive linemen, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had the left guard, Burford, who did not start a single game last year. He had started earlier in his career. He was just coming off injured reserve. And Hennessy, the kid from Don Bosco, Jersey kid, he had to start the game for Brendel. Hennessy's from Ramsey. Hennessy was with the Falcons. He had started earlier in his career some games. In fact, one season he started all 17 games, but he washed out there and wound up, being a part of the San Francisco 49ers. They signed him as a free agent last year. But he was a practice squad guy. He stepped in and he did great. Remember, San Francisco, Carl, Ricky Pearsall, second-year first-round pick out of Florida, hasn't played almost all season. Ayuk didn't play. So Jennings is the blocking wide receiver. They picked up Sky Moore. Watkins is a rookie 4th-round pick out of Ole Miss. Kendrick Bourne is a seasoned veteran who's a good player in the league, who's played his best ball with Mac Jones in New England and now here with San Francisco. So they're missing starters everywhere. The Giants' front 7 is missing one starter, Micah McFadden. Mm-hmm. The rest of the front 7 is healthy. That's odd. That is so odd to be 9 games into your season. And you have your starting edges, your starting interior defensive linemen, and one of your 2 starting inside backers. McFadden is the only starter hurt in your front 7. Think about that. You should be one of the better defenses in the NFL when you don't have injuries other than Micah McFadden. Right. He's a good player, but he's not a Pro Bowl player. Conversely, the Niners don't have Bosa, out for the year. They don't have Huff. He's injured. They don't have the other edge rusher. What his name's escaped me. Let me pull it out right here. Gross Matos. He's out of the game. He's inactive. Fred Warner is going to the Hall of Fame. And all they'd have is Tatum Bethune, who, since he stepped in as the starter at inside linebacker, has had double-digit sacks in every game that he started this year, including yesterday against the Giants. So the injury, you could talk about the Giants' injuries in the secondary, but where you control the game is at the line of scrimmage. And with 2 backup offensive linemen, the uninjured Giant front 7 got manhandled.
Yeah, look, they say they're not executing. So I'll just go with that, and that's why. Because when you have 9 games left, right, you won 2 games. You got 9 games left, and you're punching in your weight class. And you show up, and they literally manhandle you up and down the field. This whole Tay Banks thing, and listen, I'm with everybody else, and this guy is just if they could give a uniform to somebody else, they probably would. But he's the best they got, and he's the guy that they hope for every week. He's getting blocked out of the frame a lot, right? So they know they can do things with him. But the one play that everybody's highlighting when he gets run over by, I think it was Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
My question is this. Yes, that was awful. That was one of the few awful plays that he had that game. But my question is, how did the back get to the third level of your defense? What had to happen there? And then you go back and look at the film and look at the amount of players that's just standing around. And you wonder why they can't stop a nosebleed. You wonder why teams run through you like diarrhea. Because there ain't much, there's some DWI going out there. Just enough to look on film like you did your job. Nobody gets off blocks. That's part of defense. Like, oh, I played my gap. Get off the effing block and go make a play. Like, it's a lot of guys standing around. That's all I can tell you. You can look across the board. You see a few guys flying through the frame every single play. And then you see some guys, plural, guys, hold their gap. Ball runs right by them. They just stay on the block. Did my job. Oops, I got washed, but, it was a dual block. Oops, I couldn't split the double. So I'll just stand here and show that, it's awful. It's awful. And I'm embarrassed for these Giant fans to witness what we used to be the heart and soul of Giants football defense to look like it's looking. And, if y'all keep saying you ain't executing, then why aren't you executing?
I know. How many more games we got? The season's more than half over.
Man, you got 8 games left. You can make a decent season of this. You're through the hard part of your schedule. You're now everybody else's easy game. Why aren't you executing? If you're sitting there in front of your locker saying you're fine with your coach, you believe in your coach, we're not, well, why the F aren't you executing? Why? Every week. Bro, you done gave up 1,000 yards damn near this year. And in 3 games, you're over 600 yards or almost 600 yards. What are we talking about? You keep saying you're not executing. Well, I'm asking you then. Why aren't you executing? You say you like your coach. You say you got the right guy calling your plays. Why aren't you executing? Because here's what I do know. Missed tackles are not a coaching thing. That's an effort thing, right? Disengaging off of blocks to get in on a tackle or to minimize a gain, not a coaching thing. That's an effort thing.
Yeah.
So whatever your scheme is.
There was a lot of that, Carl. There was a lot of a guy getting blocked and turning around and not hauling ass after the play to maybe keep
I don't
it to
understand
a
that.
game.
I cannot relate to that type of defense. I cannot relate to that type of mentality. I don't know if coaches are demanding it, but I said last week, all of y'all got to ask more of yourselves in order to get out of the shit you're in. Y'all must like it. Y'all must like stinking. It's like a baby walking around in a dirty diaper, soiled half the day. Like, you don't smell that? Like, literally, you're walking around with a soiled diaper all day, acting like it. I don't get it. I don't get when. When do you say I got to be better. And did
wow, changed me.
Yes. You're walking around with a crappy diaper on. And it's okay. And you're good with it. You smell like doo-doo. Yeah, it's just, it bothered. That is not Giant defense.
Well,
It's not.
Carl, here's why you're so impassioned and why I'm so upset. We talked about this last week on the pod. Between 1984, when you were drafted, and the 1990 season, I know you played him opening night, Ray Handley's first game as head coach, and Matt Barr kicks the field goal on Monday Night Football, and you beat the Niners after you had knocked them, stopped their three-peat from the year before. But the rivalry was so intense, right? And, you think about Giants Stadium, and you think about Giant fans, and you think about you're playing, I'm younger, that uniform. Like they brought that uniform out for this game because the legacy game, because of the Giants-Niners rivalry. Now, look, I understand most of the players on the field were born in 2000, 1999, 1998, 2001, well after any of that stuff happened. But for the fans in the stands, the Giants fans, to see that many Niners fans, and again, I was floored by the amount of Niners fans, and I get it, right? I think once the Giants blew that lead in Denver, and then played the way they played in Philadelphia, and Scatterboo got hurt, I think people probably said, you know what? Ooh, there's a lot of Niner fans that are looking for tickets. I can get back a third or a quarter or 50% of my season ticket thing because they're willing to buy it. So that sucks. And then to see those uniforms, because with all due respect to our buddy Phil Simms, and with all due respect to Joe Morris, and with all due respect to the Suburbanites, and to Jeff Hostetler, and Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, and Mark Bavaro, and Rodney Hampton, and Otis Anderson, with all due respect to those guys, when you see those uniforms, the home uniforms, you're thinking defense. You're thinking Harry Carson, Carl Banks, Lawrence Taylor, Gary Reasons, Pepper Johnson, Leonard Marshall, Eric Howard, Jim Burt, Mark Collins, Perry Williams, Terry Kennard, Myron Guyton, Greg Jackson. Defense. Like, I think if the Giants would have lost yesterday 10-7 and played killer defense, it would feel better. But when the defense just lets go of the rope, every Giant fan has to be, it's mind-blowing.
It's deflating, man. It's mind-boggling to me because your front seven's intact. The strength of your team, the investment of this franchise went into defense. And I see so much standing around. And if y'all okay with that, then the fate is sealed anyway. If you're not okay with that, then play like you effing care. I don't understand. You sit up and you say, yeah, well, he's a good coach, and we just got to execute, blah, blah. Why? Why aren't you? Right? And here's the embarrassing part about that. You talked about the Suburbanites, and don't even go as far back as when I played. Go back to Eli and Strahan's era, and OC and Tuck and Dave Tolleson and Antonio Pierce. You know what their offenses did? They fucking fought. Their offenses fought. You know what this Giant offense does? They fight. They fight to the end. And this thing that makes me so upset and so disappointed about what I see from the defensive side of the ball, because you don't compliment those guys. This offense can go down and score, and you take the field and let them walk right down your throat. Oh, and by the way, the once heralded special teams coverage. Oh, you got a chance to at least get back in the game because your offense scored.
Give up a 40-yard kickoff return.
You give up a 40-yard
41-yard kickoff return.
You know what Strahan and those guys had too? They had good special teams. They were connected. They complemented each other. Hey, pin them back. Pin them back. We'll hold them, make them punt, and our offense will be back on the field. It's just like everybody just walks out, la-da-da, la-da-dee. I'm going to just go out here and, I'm on kickoff team. Whatever happens, happens. There has to be a connectivity. There has to be a situational awareness from players. You can't – and listen, man, this offense has its warts, but the one thing I would never accuse them of is not fighting. This group will fight. Now, we're going to call a thing. Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson, you can't drop big plays, big passes. And, because everybody wants to talk about the one you dropped, not the ones you caught, right? Your drops weren't the reason you lost, but they certainly didn't help you win.
Right.
And that's the thing.
But there's a reel out there on Instagram of throws that Jackson Dart has made since he's become the starter of drops. And you're watching. I watched the Seahawks safety make a tougher catch on an interception last night than any Giant receiver, other than Malik Neighbors' touchdown catch in Dallas, which was unbelievable in the back of the end zone. You can't drop the bunnies. The bunny is on 3rd and 7. Theo Johnson, with nobody around him in the middle of the field, has it bounce off his chest. Darius Slayton, this is a perfect throw.
In the breadbasket.
But let me ask you this, Carl. Whether it was the New Orleans game on the deep post or the flea flicker or the breadbasket touchdown pass or the slant drop, what's the definition of insanity, though? Expecting a different result, a different outcome. So it is what it sees. For me, the way I look at it here, look, Marcus Bowe is a rookie, and he got worked on a little bit yesterday. Fine with that. I think that kid has a chance to be a really good player. He's a fighter. You're right. The offensive line fights, right? They fight. They try. Andrew Thomas has been phenomenal. I think those guys try. I think the problem with the Giants offensively is personnel, okay? I think Malik Neighbors, again, he's a difference maker. But so is Ayuk, and so is Ricky Pearsall. But the Niners have other guys. The Giants, when you sign a guy off the practice squad and he plays a majority of the snaps at wide receiver, that means you are lacking depth and impact players behind your starter. So you lose Neighbors, and now you're hard. It's hard to get open. Wan'Dale Robinson plays his heart out, but he's limited. And with Scatterboo being hurt, your running back room is not that great. And Theo Johnson could be a difference maker, but he's too inconsistent catching the ball. And if you're going to use him in the passing game and you're going to rely on him, you have to catch the ball more consistently. But I think personnel offensively is an issue. Defensively, yeah, I know they're down bodies in the secondary, but again, you have one of your.
I just rolled my eyes because you got two safeties that should be able to play. You got a corner who should be able to play. I just rolled my eyes on this. You got guys down in the secondary. They're there and they're down. How about that?
Right, exactly. Right, because the defense, yeah, I know you're down corners, and I know Holland's not playing, but Belton has played in the past, and Newman is supposedly your starter. You got rid of Pinnock, who's on San Francisco, by the way, and you got all of your starters except for McFadden in your front seven. There's not injuries there.
Listen, let me go back to the offense. So you talk about talent. Here's what I know from years of watching this game and playing it. The difference between a good player and a very good player is consistency. So we wouldn't be having these conversations about Darius Slayton or Theo Johnson, if they just consistently did their job. Like a lot of players you just mentioned may not even have the same talent as Slayton or Theo Johnson. They are just consistent. And that's what makes them good players, and it makes them reliable players. That's where you've got to put on yourself to become consistent. Because you caught 6 passes in the game, nobody remembers those. They remember the drop touchdown, right? So you've got to strive for consistency. This offense will fight their asses off. It probably took everything in the world to keep Jermaine Illuminor off the field this week because he wants to go out on his shield every game. I don't see that on defense. Well, I see it 3-4 guys, but this offensive line, they fight, man. This quarterback, they fight. Complement each other. Help the offense fight. Take that attitude. The offense has a defensive attitude, in my opinion. And they get better every week. Yeah, I mean, they stalled out a little bit offensively. They got back on track. But if you can just let a team walk in your building and run through you like diarrhea, what is that saying? What is it saying? Oh, yep, he's in his gap. He's in his gap. He's in his gap. The way I look at defense, you get off blocks and you make tackles. Yeah. Right? It's not always the unblocked guy. It's the guy who gets off a block and make a tackle. I'm at a loss for words because the more I talk, the worse it's gonna get, and it should not, right? People gonna say, you ain't talking about the coaches. They're all in it together. I said that last week collectively, right? They don't win games. That fate is sealed anyway. They're all coaching for their jobs, right? If you don't play better, there ain't no discussion to have. They're going to be gone. I'm appealing to a sense of Giants pride. Coaches and players. Play and coach like your jobs depend on it. And you can, people say, well, they just shut down on Daves or they just shut down on Bowen and, Bowen can't scheme them. Well, there's 8 games left. You want to look like a talented group of losers, or do you want to go out fighting like you got some talent, right? Because what ends up happening, just like it happened with the coordinator before this one and the coordinator before that one, you can keep firing coaches, but if your effort don't get better, you can't keep blaming coaches for bad effort, right? They will put a structure in place. And you got to demand of yourself to be good. I'm not absolving coaching. It looks crazy right now.
No, because part of this is there has to be some level of tolerance to this, right? I mean, there has to be some level of. I mean, when you put on this tape and you watch this, there has to be some level of tolerance, or we got to clean this up, or that a boy, there was a good effort on this one, but yeah,
there ain't no more attaboys.
Yeah, well, right, but it's starting to look the same with 6 minutes to go in the Denver game, through Philadelphia, now through San Francisco, it all is looking the same.
Yeah,
and I think, look, people could talk about, and I know there's a lot of people that question what they're doing schematically on the defensive side of the ball and all that other stuff. And I'm sure there's validity to some of that stuff. But, Carl, when they say to you, we're going to just run between the tackles and we're going to run it on 6 straight plays basically between the tackles, that's an effort. That's a want-to. That is not
Let me tell you about scheme
right there.
Let me tell you about scheme. You can ask any good player. There's scheme, and then there's you. And ain't no scheme in the world going to get you out of an ass whooping until you decide to fight for yourself. They can call every play They can call every twist, every stunt. That they can't scheme you out of an ass whooping. You individually got to be better. You individually got to show that you ain't taking it. That's just like my advice to Kayvon. You let them get away with one play a game. You can stop that play. Once you put on film, because they see on film that they can do it. Once you put on film that I'm going to punch this, I'm going to not punch, but I'm going to jack this receiver, even if he ain't blocking me. If he wants to come down and fake like he's blocking me, I'm going to jack him because he's too close. You won't have to worry about that again, right? But when I see guys standing up, standing around, watching the ball go, and nobody's disengaging with blocks. No, you're accepting it. You're receiving the butt whipping. You ain't fighting for it. Yeah, you can all say you play hard, right? I'm not saying you quit. I'm saying you don't want it.
You know what? What you're saying right there, Jackson Dart, I don't know if you heard his post-game presser, but he said something that actually applies to this defensive conversation, because he was asked about the end of the half after the Burns sack, forced fumble, Abdul Carter recovery, looked like an interception, ruled a fumble, whatever. You start the ball in plus territory here, and the Giants run 3 plays, get 0 yards. So people were asking, it kind of looked like you guys were playing for a field goal, because we're never playing for a field goal. Well, what about the play calling? He said, look, if a call comes in and it might not be a call that can work based on what a defense shifts into or whatever, and it's not the best call for what we're going against, he said, it's still our job as players to make the play work on some level. And we didn't do that in that situation. We got a look. We had something called. We got a little something different. He goes, it's not the call. He goes, it's us on the field that still have to find a way to make that play work and be successful. And we fail to do that as a group. Mm-hmm. And that really applies to the defensive side of the ball. When you think about it, like, if there is not a good call, it doesn't mean that that doesn't mean you should get gashed.
Yeah.
The rookie summed it up.
Yeah. I mean, that just tells you where this offense is mentality-wise versus where the defense is, and all of its talent and all of the team's resources invested. I feel bad for Giants fans because they're just not getting what you should be getting. It's just a lot of DWI out there for me. You can say your effort is there. You can say you're not quitting. I'm not calling you a bunch of quitters. I see a lot of guys who don't get off blocks. I don't
pursue the ball. I see guys jogging after maybe.
Yeah, that's just not good defense, folks. Doing your job is not just holding your gap or setting your edge. Disengage off a damn block and go get somebody. That's what they did against your offense, right? They don't stay blocked. Or if you did your job, now do something else, right? Stay involved. And it's unfortunate because you got 8 games left. And I'm saying the back 9 could be epic. Y'all don't want epics. You don't. You don't want epic. I don't see that. I don't see a team that says we got an opportunity to go on a run here. Let's become respectable. Because just because you don't show me that that's what you want. I don't see that. And I'm saying all of this as a Giant fan, somebody who wants nothing more than these Giants players, especially these defensive players, to be great. But it's disappointing because you got talent. Every week, you're playing against teams that have backups just like you. But
I didn't even throw in the fact that the Niners are playing with a backup quarterback.
Yes. I just don't. It's disappointing. I look at the room and there's a lot of talent, and you just look, man. You can. There ain't no perfect schemes, and I'll say this: they are in it together, coaches and players. I don't know if they can demand from these guys more effort. I don't know how because I'm not in their meeting rooms, right? But I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. And y'all sit up and come into these press conferences and say, yeah, we got to do a better job. Our coaches are this. Our coaches, we got a good coach. We just got to execute. Then why? Why do you want to walk around with a shitty diaper on all day? You're stinking up the place. Like, change it. Come out, do something different. I don't understand this. I don't. But they're all going to, the fates are going to be sealed. If that's, if anybody out there worried about, this coach got to go and it's going to happen unless they do better. But that's on them too. It's on players too.
Well, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be out of jobs. There's a lot of players that are going to be out of jobs.
Right.
No matter who is there.
Y'all sit up here and act like you don't want to. A lot of good players, a lot of good coaches are going to lose jobs. A lot of players going to lose jobs. And it'll be a shame. But y'all responsible for that too. If you don't hate your coaches and you like them like you say you do, play for them. Coaches, coach them. Now's the time. You ain't got nothing to lose. If you see something, say something. Right? Don't correct it and pat them on the back and say, let's get them next time. Next time is last week. Next time is the week before that. Next time was the week before that. It's repeating the same stuff. You got 8 weeks. Coach them. You got 8 weeks. Play better. Don't stop talking about you're going to execute. We're not executing. Fuck, go do it. Right? Get off of blocks. Play like your hair's on fire. Disrupt. Yeah, here comes a dual block. Here's a linebacker. Can't decide whether or not he wants to follow the same color jersey or go to an open space where the ball's going to go. How many times? Coach him. And then when you coach him, demand that he does it. Oh, dual block on the 3 technique. Here's my linebacker. He's just waiting. He's waiting. Here goes the ball. I'm late. They came off the duel and sealed me. Know why they can do it? Because they see it every week.
Right.
Try for one time. Try one time. When you see a dual block, go to the gap. Just go to the gap. Watch what happens. Number one, you're going to create a one-on-one for your 3 technique. And then you're going to build the wall at the line of scrimmage, and there's nowhere to go. It ain't that hard, folks. It ain't that hard. If you play, if you can't get your second level players free, and a dual block happens at the line of scrimmage, or a double team block for that matter, if it happens at the line of scrimmage, try something different. Either go up and take the double team off and give your guy a one-on-one opportunity, or just go to the gap because the ball's about to go there. And while you're studying and running behind your own guy, trying not to get blocked, you're late. Just try it one time. You've been doing it this way the whole year. Try something. Dual block, go to the gap, go to the backside gap, watch that dual block come off. You're at the line of scrimmage setting the wall, and the guy that you just took, the 3 technique you just took the dual block off of, he's going to make the tackle because he's one-on-one with the guy that's trying to block him.
Right.
Try
it. And guess what's going to happen this week? Swift was out last week, and we'll preview the Bears later in the week. But Kyle Monangai, who was a rookie 7th-round pick, played at Seton Hall Prep and finished at Don Bosco Prep, or vice versa. I'm not really sure. Played his college ball at Rutgers. And then 7th-round pick of the Chicago Bears. Yesterday, he tuned up the Cincinnati defense, 26 carries, 176 yards. Guess what the Bears are going to want to do next Sunday at home? Take one guess.
Run it. Guess. Run it.
Run it.
They're going to run it like the Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago. They just, listen, man.
Because they're watching all this
you stop
film.
it?
They're watching this film. They're going, okay.
They see
here we
it.
go.
They're like easy pickings. And you're going to line up and let them do it, or you're not. Right? But you're going to watch. You better watch film too. Because all of these teams don't have all pros up front. The strength of your team is your defensive front. It is now your weakness. Teams are having their way. I don't know what to say other than play like you want it. Play like you want it to be different. It's not every week. You can blame a coordinator, call it what you see. You can blame position coaches if certain guys aren't getting better. That's the easy way. Because if you're a player and you say you like your coach, then go show that he's teaching you something. Go show that they drafted you for what you can do. Can't be the same old story, Tyler Nubin, because I do believe you got a lot of talent. But we ain't getting the Tyler Nubin we should be getting. Dane Belton, you're giving everything you got. Here's one thing about Dane Belton. He's a willing tackler. He'll go up in there and stick his nose in there. That's the one thing he'll do. Now, he got to get some assignment stuff right, to help himself. But he'll go up in there and hit. Whatever he lacks in talent, he will go up in there and he will run support and he'll give you what he has.
I'll live with a bad play with effort.
100%. If you're going to make a mistake, make it at 100%. I can't live with a bunch of standing around while three guys are flying like their pants are on fire. I can't. Correct. That's not Giant football, and it should be. It should be unacceptable. That's it, man. Like this offense, they're doing some things, and the one thing I will give this offense every day of the week is their effort. I'll give them a plus for their effort. They don't quit on each other.
Nope. Andrew Thomas is leading by example, and they're feeding off of Jackson Dart's winning mentality.
They got winning mentality from Dart. They got leading by example from Andrew Thomas. Oh, and by the way, everybody that y'all used as a doormat last year, JMS, is playing his ass off, right? Now, I got Brian Burns playing his ass off, and nobody's following his example. I got Kayvon Thibodeau playing his ass off. Nobody's following his example. I got Bobby Okereke giving you everything he got. Where the rest of y'all at? There's a lot of talent on that defense. Ain't no scheme stopping Brian Burns, right? Ain't no scheme stopping Kayvon Thibodeau. No scheme stopping Bobby Okereke. And Bobby ain't been perfect, right? But he knows how to play the game and he tries. No schemes are stopping these guys. They're not handicapped by the scheme. Why is everybody else saying, well, the scheme is effed up? No, it ain't. Look at the film. It could be better. I guarantee you, yes, it could be better. But if you ain't giving the effort, that's on you, man. It is. It bothers me. It really does, because Giants are about defense.
Yeah, and that uniform.
You got to carry your part. Dude, I mean, I'm looking at this offense. They fight for each other. They're getting better, too. This ain't just a hard scrabble team that, whatever they lack in talent, they give an effort. No, they're getting better. Yes, I got a problem with the inconsistency of Darius Slayton or the inconsistency of your tight ends. Make those plays because you're dangerous. You got a quarterback who can dial it up and put it where it needs to be. Reward him, reward them, right? I need that on defense. I'm sorry. It's you can point wherever you want to point. I come from a player's lens. And yes, if you want to say this scheme can be better, hey, 1 minute you want them to blitz. The next minute you want them to simplify it. Trying to get everybody on the same page. And here's the thing. Did you watch San Francisco, folks? It wasn't. They don't do a whole lot.
No,
They
they
just
rushed
lined
four
up.
almost the whole game.
They played probably 2 coverages the whole game and blitzed every once in a while. That's as vanilla as you can get. You know why they can play vanilla? Because everybody gives effort. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and they give effort. So you can blame scheme on what you 1 minute you want them to blitz, and then when you find out that they blitz in X amount of times, then you're saying, well, they should be playing more zone. Or when you find out they play a high percentage of zone, they should be playing man. You can pick it out of the hat. If your players don't fucking execute, it doesn't matter. The best thing you can do when you got injuries on the back end is to simplify it. Play to your strengths. The strength of this team is up front. And they don't play to that. The players are not exploiting that.
No, they should be wrecking running games. They're not.
Right. I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think that they ever walk on the field defensively as a group and feel like they've got the confidence to go out and dominate. That's an individual thing, but I don't think that when they take the field that they feel that they can be dominant.
All right, I think that's a great place to end it. And until they change it, they're going to get more of the same. I want to thank our friends at FanDuel, frustrated Bob Papa, Carl Banks, and every single Giant fan that was sitting in that building yesterday looking at those uniforms and saying, where's my Giant defense? How do we like to end this thing?
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Bleav in Giants.